Good Wednesday morning from Yahoo Finance's New York City headquarters studios. I'm Yahoo Finance executive editor Brian Sozzi. You've seen dueling big-name CEOs over at the New York Stock Exchange. Delta CEO Ed Bastian, proud to say he will be at Invest tomorrow. And then on the other hand, really a game-changing CEO and Dr. Lisa Su over at AMD. Big guidance from that company yesterday by Lisa. Now, I should mention Yahoo Finance's big annual event is on Thursday. Our teams have been up around the clock putting the finishing touches on this one, and I can tell you firsthand, it will be a special day for investors all around the world. I can't wait to chat with the likes of Bitcoin King Michael Saylor, Robinhood's co-founder and CEO Vlad Tenev, and as I just mentioned, Delta CEO Ed Bastian and so many others. But before that kicks off Thursday morning, we do have some markets news of the day to slice and dice. The government is on the verge of opening, good to see. Yet AI momentum stocks still looking to stabilize. Let's get back over to the NASDAQ and check in with our very own Brooke DePalma. Brooke, big day for AMD. Good to see Lisa down there ringing that bell.
Very exciting to see Lisa Su down ringing the opening bell. She had said as soon as she was about to ring the opening bell to her team that they've accomplished so much, but truly the best is yet to come. And you feel that energy heading into today's trading session. We are seeing a nice pop across all three major indices. The NASDAQ seeing some upward momentum compared to yesterday's bit of a sell-off, up now nearly more than 0.3% to kick off today's trading session. You have right behind that the Dow, which really saw its record high on Tuesday's trading session. That's holding on to that momentum this morning, up more than 0.3%, and the S&P 500 just slightly behind that, up about 0.2% at the open here. Now, taking a look at trending, because there are some major movers within this market this morning. Speaking of AMD, we are seeing that stock open up nearly 7% at the open, and that's after Lisa Su had said that the total addressable market for AI data centers could hit $1 trillion over the next 5 years. She also said that data center revenue could increase 60% over the next 3 to 5 years. So we're seeing that reflected in the stock this morning. Also a bit of a risk-on environment here. We're seeing Bitcoin and Ethereum open higher. Ethereum seeing a major move up more than 1% in this early trading session. And a company that I have my eye on and that is on holding behind those on running sneakers. Heading into this report, the stock has been seeing a downward momentum year to date, but now we're seeing a pop at the open of more than 20% as the CEO told me over the phone that this company is able to play into a premium market, and that's why it's doing well in this environment. And taking a look across the board, we are seeing a bit of a mixed picture for the NASDAQ this morning, but certainly there are some key winners here, like NVIDIA moving higher. We also have AMD seeing momentum, Micron and Broadcom up both more than 1%, as well as Qualcomm. So definitely some momentum heading into this morning, especially for AMD. But once again, taking a step back, all three major indices in the green to kick off today's trading session.
Brooke, those on sneakers, they're everywhere. I mean, the amount of distribution they have gotten has been through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely. A Swiss company now really, taking over other markets. They did really well in China and here in the U.S. this quarter.
All right, thanks so much, Brooke. Appreciate it. Here's what I'm tracking out of the gate today. AMD thinks AI demand will 5x its earnings by 2030 at a closely watched analyst day. While that may be possible in the near term, the AI trade still looks shaky. NVIDIA about $300 billion shy of its record $5 trillion market cap it hit just a week ago. The jobs picture in the U.S. remains murky at best. A new report from ADP said U.S. companies shed 11,250 jobs per week on average in the 4 weeks ended October 25th. Meanwhile, Fed Chair contender Kevin Hassett thinks the October economic data will be lost for good because of the government shutdown. Who wants to see that? When government data does resume, the avalanche could show the type of economic weakness that unsettles the bulls into year end. The upshot here, and there is one, any economic softness could be met with a Fed rate cut on December 10th. Not bad. Here in the opening bid roundtable to talk about all this stuff, Stephanie Guild, Robinhood Chief Investment Officer, alongside Yahoo Finance Senior Reporters Brooke DePalma and Inez Ferre. Stephanie, want to come out of the block on AI. If you would have told me that AMD was going to come out last night and say we're going to earn $20 a share in earnings by 2030, up from about $4 this year, I thought the stock would be up over 10%. It's not. What's the read-through there?
I think it doesn't actually change. Like, I was reading through the analyst day takeaways, and I don't think it actually materially changes the story behind the stock. Like, they did go to great leaps to say how the demand is, quote unquote, insatiable, which I think is one of the questions that are just out there for every stock that's related to AI. And they did lift their targets, like you said, but I think the questions and the expectations were already really high going into it, and they remain the same, which is why I think, like, it's not going to move as much as you might expect if not all of this was known before.
You bring up a really good point, Stephanie. What's the next catalyst for these AI stocks? At this point, we know everyone is building data centers. We know everyone is connected somehow to OpenAI. What's that next big moment, you think?
I think it could be you're starting to see the actual benefits come through. Perhaps like cash flow starts to catch up to some of the spending that's happening. I think that's the biggest question in most investors' minds is, the CapEx is huge, and where is the cash flow from that? And right now the CapEx has been trending higher than the cash flow. So I think that's really just the main question for most of the AI stocks. I don't know if you saw, there was a name yesterday, a small one that reported, I think it's Nebius. It's kind of AI related, but they actually put out their earnings and they increased their debt by threefold, from about $980 million to $3 billion in advance of a contract with Meta. So I think, again, these questions are still out there because of things like that.
And it is wild for me to sit here and see AMD put up probably over $4 a share in earnings this year, and then go to $20 potentially, or even more by 2030. I mean, that says so much about AI.
Look, I think the headline from Lisa Su's talk yesterday was that the AI chip market will reach a total addressable market of $100 trillion by 2030. Also, the fact that she said that they see a very clear path to gaining double-digit share in the that data center market. So data centers is very much where it's at. She talked about the growth in the business from $2 billion in 2020 to $16 billion this year. And this raises the question whether Wall Street has underestimated or has been conservative with its estimates, but it's a little bit of a wait and see. And one note that I will say is that I was just looking at what some strategists have been saying about this, and basically saying that the pivot is official, that AMD is building this platform that is to sell full AI infrastructure. That's going after NVIDIA, and it's chasing that vertical model that NVIDIA has. And one other strategist saying Michael Burry is wrong. I mean, the question is whether or not Burry shorting NVIDIA is wrong or not. But look, if you take a look at what Lisa Su said and the TAM for this market, you would think that perhaps he is wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah, who are we to argue with Michael Burry? Brooke, maybe you could pull up some of these AI stock names on the Wi-Fi Interactive. I mean, they're all off their 52-week highs, which I think says a lot.
Yeah, what we're seeing is a bit of a pullback because of this bubble risk that currently we're seeing within the market. If you take a look at the NASDAQ here on the heat map, what we saw, take a look at AMD, which is in the green the most, leading the momentum this morning. Year to date, this stock is up more than 111%, but over the past month, they're still seeing some momentum. But certainly, these companies have really been put in question on whether or not this AI bubble risk, this long-term optimism will exactly play out. As you can see, NVIDIA was one of those companies that say, over the past 10 days, as this fear that this AI spending is getting overgrown, is that people are pouring too much money in this market, that debt that they're collecting in order to fund these major data center projects, that definitely has been something that analysts on the street are questioning. And if you take a look over the last 10 days, you're seeing some of these major players like Broadcom, like NVIDIA, like Palantir, like AMD, Intel, some of these companies that have really seen these major momentum, especially over the summer months when AI and data centers were all the buzz and all the excitement, especially after that key earnings growth. Now we're seeing just a slight pullback in that momentum as investors are trying to really understand, will this actually play out, and when will it play out? How long do we have to wait for this to ultimately come to fruition? Many analysts, including Melius Research, calling it long-term optimism here, and they see AMD as a key player, but when exactly it'll all play out really remains to be seen.
And of course, Wedbush there, you see AMD, Dan Ives, who's going to be a big invest guest. Looking forward to seeing Dan. Brooke, real quick, on that heat map, I love me some Yahoo Finance heat maps. Tesla down over the past few days. It was amazing to see that after that Elon Pay package.
Yeah, definitely. Keep in mind, though, year to date, this stock was under pressure heading into that meeting, that shareholders where they approved that, what was it,
$1 trillion
trillion dollar pay package. So definitely over the past month, we have seen some momentum heading into that meeting, and now we're seeing a bit of a pullback after it did see quite a jump heading into that meeting, down about 5% over the past 5 days.
Stephanie, let me get back to you, because at the same time we see these positive developments. Companies are building out AI data centers. They want a lot of power. The economy, given the data that we are able to see, like the ADP report, again showing pressure on jobs, what do you think the economy will be showing once we start getting this government data back?
I think it's going to show probably like just continued. I think it will be kind of flat. And the reason why I think that is because the immigration changes that we've seen in the U.S. do have a major impact on the growth of jobs here in the U.S. And I think we're at a kind of full employment or close to that. And we are maybe potentially heading into a time where cost cutting starts to be more important for companies. And you saw that with like the likes of Amazon. I was scoping through the Challenger data because that's kind of one of the few data points we have. And it did show an increase of layoffs, but most of it came from DOGE and the government. Like DC was, had the most layoffs, followed by Georgia, which is where the CDC is, and they'd done a great amount of layoffs. And then the third in the row from a state perspective is Washington State, not Washington, D.C. And that's where you have Amazon. They have been making, they've already announced those cuts. So I actually think like labor market weakness is mostly coming from the government right now. But, I do think you're not going to see huge amounts of job growth either.
And Inez, a lot of CEOs that I talk to, I'm really starting to pick up that they're putting billions to work on building an AI infrastructure, but it's starting to really impact various workflows inside the company. It is really leading to real job loss. It's not just these headlines floating around. Like, people are actually legit losing their jobs because of AI and chatbots and what have you.
Yeah, and that's what companies are also citing as to the reason why they would be laying off or perhaps not hiring is because they are moving towards AI, they are moving towards automation. Look, the Fed only has these like private company data sets to go off of, but from everything we've seen, I mean, it's intuitive. You would think that this is what would happen. It's just that they don't have the all exact data sets that they're used to having. But even so, I mean, it's very difficult to sort of gauge the impact of AI on jobs, except for what companies are basically telling you, what the executives are telling you.
Brooke, isn't Starbucks in the process of redoing their app yet again? I mean, I'm fascinated to even see how a company like that, who's been leading for many years in terms of their app, how does AI impact that experience?
Well, definitely what we're seeing within their, barista side of things, they certainly have launched that green apron model, integrating AI into the system on the back end of things in order to maximize what Brian Niccol would like to be, the CEO there, would like to be a 4-minute wait time, ultimate wait time for customers there. And so there's small ways that the company's integrating. Of course, many are not quick to say that they're going to lose jobs from them, but rather this is a way that the company is going to work with AI and their employees, their baristas, will work with this new technology in order to, increase the experience or better the experience for customers. But definitely what we're seeing, including others like Walmart, even, others within retail, really trying to seek out AI to maximize the customer experience. And very few are saying that there's going to be less people on the floor, less people behind the coffee bar. But definitely this integration of AI is something to watch, especially within the retail space, and how it's going to ultimately improve the customer experience, so they say.
Brooke, did you get one of those Starbucks bears yet?
Brian, I don't want to talk about it because I didn't get one.
Wait, Stephanie, you got one?
They're so popular.
No, my daughter is dying for one. So we were walking, we took a family trip and we were walking up and down to every Starbucks in the airport looking for one.
Yeah, well, it's just...
See, I told you, Brian.
They're hard to come by. All right, we're going to leave it there.
They had other ones, but not the bear ones.
I think they're going to come out with some more. Let's just say that. All right, hang with me, everyone. We'll get back on the Starbucks Bear Chat. We're one day away from a big day here at Yahoo Finance, our annual Invest event tomorrow, November 13th, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern from our New York City studios. We got a special full day of live coverage of the key themes driving the market AI, crypto, the economy, and much more with the top people in corporate America you'll want to hear from. We'll be talking to Robinhood co-founder and CEO Vlad Tenev. Robinhood has been on a tear again this year as it reinvents its platform. Vlad is just one of the big names planning to be in attendance. Questions for our esteemed guest are now open and flowing in on the Yahoo Finance community channel right at the top of our homepage. Some of the questions we have already gotten are absolutely awesome. Keep them coming right into tomorrow. Don't miss Yahoo Finance Invest live all day tomorrow, November 13th. Tell all your friends. Welcome back to Opening Bid. With the government on the verge of reopening, fast food players may be poised to get back to sales normality. City analyst John Tower slapping upside catalyst watches on salad bowl sellers Cava and Sweetgreen because of their outsized exposure to DC gigs. Cava has 16% of its store base in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, whereas Sweetgreen has 11%. All right, let's hit my stock of the day, and it is Pfizer. On Tuesday, I profiled Delta Airlines here ahead of my chat at our Invest event with CEO Ed Bastian. Today, I wanted to quickly take a look at Pfizer, as I'll be sitting down with longtime CEO Albert Bourla at Invest. It has been an eventful few months for Pfizer. Battled Novo Nordisk hard for weight loss drug startup Metsera. It won that battle with a $10 billion offer. Pfizer also linked up with the Trump administration in a bid to bring down drug costs for Americans. While there are concerns about Pfizer's patent expiration cliff, it's interesting to see a world-class platform like this only trading at 8 times estimated forward earnings. The company has a dividend yield, get this, of about over 6%. Shares are down slightly over the past year. Still with me to weigh in on this one, Stephanie Gill, Brooke DePalma, and as for Stephanie, what do you make from this weakness in the healthcare space?
I like the drug or the healthcare space, I should say, just not every single one. Like anywhere, we're going to be selective. And Pfizer just hasn't been that compelling to us. You know, their growth in their pipeline is maybe 2 to 3 years out. And this deal with Metsera was just a little strange. Like I read the other day that the FTC called Pfizer and said, you know, maybe you don't want to go forward with this. And that's kind of a big deal for their pipeline. And our view is that when things are coming off patent, valuations don't typically bottom until about 2 to 3 months before it actually starts, and so they're still a couple of years away from that. So I think they're really like a show me story. No matter how cheap it is, we just don't see strong growth. There are the other names though that we do see it. Like we do like Lilly, and we hold it in Robinhood strategies. Same thing with Amgen, for example.
And as when I mentioned Delta yesterday, they were also trading at about 8 times forward earnings. It's weird. It's just weird to see these iconic companies, these big cash flow generating companies trading at these multiples. And then you go to, on the other end of the spectrum, you have OpenAI losing billions of dollars, fetching higher valuations. You have other AI companies with mind-blowing valuations, and they're still starting up. It's just, it's a lot to take.
Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes to healthcare companies, they have had a rough start to the year. The XLV is up 10% year to date, but a lot of those gains came after August. And when it comes to Pfizer, I mean, I thought that something exciting that Pfizer talked about earlier this year was actually in a write-up where they're talking about using AI for medical breakthroughs and basically saying that they're going to be, instead of researching in a lab, they'll be using AI, and they are using AI to test compounds. I think that that's where it's at with healthcare. It's how do you incorporate AI for these medical breakthroughs, for testing different types of any kind of medications and talking about diseases and looking at that through that lens. That's, to me, the most exciting part about the healthcare industry.
Yeah, Brooke, Inez brings up a good point. AI could be the next big value unlock for a sector that has been, it's been challenged.
Brian, that's right. And what we heard actually on an episode of Stocks in Translation that I got to sit in on was one of the sources there was telling us that pharmaceuticals could be the next big sector for AI to really, lead to momentum there after AI has really been baked into a lot of tech stocks. Maybe that's the next sector to take a look at, especially you hear Eli Lilly, they're getting into AI. You hear all these different companies in different ways that they're able, as Inez was pointing to, integrate AI into their everyday operations. And really that could be, as we see this tech rally, this AI rally continue, now sources are saying that this could lead to momentum in other sectors as well. So definitely something that I have my eye on.
All right, you just heard me breaking down Pfizer. As I just mentioned, I'll be talking to Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla at Invest. He is just one of the market-moving names planning to be in attendance. Don't miss Yahoo Finance Invest live all day tomorrow, November 13th. Really looking forward to having that conversation. All right, a basket of bonds issued by tech giants building AI data centers, namely Alphabet and Oracle, have been hit hard in the past few weeks. My question of the day is this: is the debt market signaling trouble ahead for the AI stock trade? What say you, Stephanie?
I'm not sure we're there yet. I think the debt, using debt to invest in AI and for the CapEx kind of just started. Like up until recently, it had been just the large hyperscalers using their cash flow. And so I'm not sure we're there yet. I think some of the confusion is because of some of the bankruptcies that we've had, maybe not in this area, but more in like the auto sector. And it's just kind of starting to make people a little nervous overall about how much debt there's been. And I think it's warranted because we did have like a decade of practically 0% interest rates. And so what the repercussions of that will be in this decade. But I don't actually think we're there from an AI perspective.
And as I'm right with Stephanie, I mean, these are iconic companies generating billions in cash flow. Oracle, Meta, Microsoft. I respect what the bond market may be saying here or trying to say, but it's not like Meta's going out of business anytime soon. Let's get real.
Right, especially when you talk about a company like Meta. I mean, I definitely think that it depends on the company, but look, Wall Street has been very clear that these are some healthy balance sheets that you're talking about when you're talking about these big, massive companies. Obviously, the street investors don't really like to see sort of debt being used, but it may also be a better use of their money if they're using debt instead of their cash. So it just depends, though. It's very company driven. It depends on the company, but Wall Street has been bullish on the fact that they're healthy balance sheets.
Yeah, no, look, Brooke, money's relatively cheap. It's cheaper relative to a couple months ago post-Fed rate cut, so why not take on some debt?
Yeah, certainly what the market's baking in is around a 60% chance that we'll get another rate cut at the end of December in the next FOMC meeting, of course, pending whether or not we get that government data that they're really relying on here. But also want to point out that we did get a note from JP Morgan earlier this week. They said that AI infrastructure costs more than $5 trillion. And it's not just going to rely on these companies, now it really, the analyst said that it requires participation from every public capital market. They went on to say, as well as private credit, alternative capital providers, and even government involvement. And we've seen the government take stake in companies like Intel to really push forward this momentum within the AI build out. And so really JP Morgan sort of saying all hands in, this is what it needs to take in order to complete this major build out and the spending that needs to come with it.
Great chat here indeed. Thank you, Stephanie, Brooke, and Inez. Hey, Stephanie, tell your office that Vlad's coming on tomorrow. Please tell everyone.
I will. Tell him I said hi when you see him.
I most certainly will. Thank you so much. All right, I've been talking about our annual Invest event on Thursday all day on today's show. Here are 3 themes I am really keyed in on, which might be helpful as you follow along live. How severe will job losses be next year because of AI? Is the latest crypto sell-off normal, or is there something more brewing here? And 3, what is corporate America seeing demand-wise in their businesses with economic concerns swirling and considering the fact we haven't gotten any economic data in over a month? All right, coming up, Julie Hyman has you covered on Market Catalyst. She'll be diving more into all things fixed income.